Get out of here, now.
Yeah.
Hand over this house to us right now. This is my house. But if you really want this house, I'll give it to you. You'll see. My name is Catherine. I turned 60 this year. I divorced my husband when we were younger. My ex-husband had a terrible drinking problem and would verbally and physically abuse me. When he started hitting our children, I slammed the petition for divorce of marriage in front of him. Afterward, I raised our 2 kids on my own and put them through college. Now, I continue to work in floral arranging, a job I've been doing for a long time. A few years ago, I started offering online courses, which has been enjoyable because of all the new people I met. My eldest son, Michael, who has always lived at home, married a woman 2 years his senior. I thought he would move out, but he asked to live together. Since I had no reason to refuse, the 3 of us started living together. Michael's wife, Olivia, was quiet and not good at housework. She began to learn eagerly from me, and I thought she was a very nice girl. But now, her true colors are showing. She only acts rude and throws tantrums in front of me. In front of Michael, she behaves like a quiet and good wife. The housework I taught her consists only of washing her own clothes, and she does nothing else. Although it's supposed to be the house I've lived in for many years, I'm somehow being treated like a nuisance. Still, I'm trying to make it work with the 2 of them, who show no signs of leaving. But I never could have imagined how that day would drastically change my life. It was right after I finished an online course and was about to take a break. Suddenly, my eldest son's yelling echoed throughout the house. "Hey, old lady. We're out of shampoo. How am I supposed to wash now?" From the bathroom, yet his voice reached all the way up to my room on the 2nd floor. I was used to being yelled at by Michael every day. As I was not very quick on my feet, I brought him the refill shampoo as quickly as I could. "Here you go." "Sorry, I didn't notice." "You're too slow. It took too long after I called you. Make sure to check it properly next time. I'll be more careful from now on." Michael didn't respond and just snatched the shampoo refill from me. At that moment, I accidentally cut the palm of my hand a bit deeper with the refill pack. Complaining would only add fuel to the fire. Sighing, I took a bandage from the first aid kit. Then Olivia spoke up. "What, did you hurt yourself? You're so clumsy. It's almost time for dinner, isn't it? I'm hungry, isn't the food ready yet? It's that time already? I'll get ready quickly. Maybe you could help me, Olivia?" "Huh? Why do I have to cook too? Just hurry up and do it yourself." As Olivia was about to leave, Michael came out of the shower. He sensed something was off between Olivia and me and interjected. "What's going on? Don't tell me you're bullying my wife, old lady." "Not at all. I just asked her to help because I hurt myself," I explained. Olivia, changing her tone completely, sweetly told Michael. I knew this pattern all too well and was already resigned. "Is that what she said? Hey, old lady. You know Olivia isn't good with housework. Are you kidding me by forcing her to do it?" "I wasn't forcing her. I just asked politely if she could help, and she refused, so I was going to do it myself." When I tried to explain, my daughter-in-law Olivia quickly wrapped her arms around Michael and countered. Somehow, because she hurt her hand, she said she couldn't cook. We're late eating because she wasn't working but sleeping, apparently. What? What are you talking about? Yes, I did hurt my hand, but I never said I couldn't cook. And I really was working until just now. Enough. Whether you said it or not doesn't matter now, but trying to make Olivia cook is a fact. You're the one at fault, old lady. Angry, Michael turned his back on me and headed for the living room. At that moment, Olivia, making sure Michael couldn't see her, playfully stuck her tongue out and followed him into the living room. Michael always took Olivia's side and showed no interest in me. Still, I was really having trouble with Olivia. If only Michael could see her true colors, our living situation might be different. There were several times when it seemed like her true nature would come to light in front of Michael. But Olivia is good at hiding it, and because she's so articulate, she's quite formidable. Then one day, my biological daughter, Emma, brought her husband, Jake, to visit. Jake is younger than Emma but very composed and polite. He's so capable that he's risen to a managerial position at a young age, and sometimes I think Emma doesn't deserve someone as good as him. Welcome, both of you. Come on in. We're home. There's nothing like being back at home. Mom, have you been well? Unlike her brother, my daughter wasn't prickly at all. The atmosphere around her was always somewhat warm, enveloped in a gentle air. When I showed Emma and her husband to the living room, I saw Michael and Olivia lounging on the sofa. As I was about to greet them, Olivia quickly sat up straight and adjusted her appearance. Then, with a forced smile, she began speaking to my daughter and son-in-law in a cloying tone. It's been a while. Emma, you look even more beautiful, don't you? And Jake, as charming as ever. Please, have a seat here. Olivia moved away from the sofa she had been lying on earlier and headed to the kitchen. Emma and her husband took a seat on the sofa and started chatting with Michael, and I too went to the kitchen. In the kitchen, Olivia was preparing coffee for everyone except me. As I bent down to get some snacks from a lower shelf, Olivia threatened me nearby. I didn't hear about those two coming. Are you messing with me? I'm pretty sure I mentioned it, Olivia. You ignored it, didn't you? Another excuse? Cut it out, will you? I'm about to make you regret it. Olivia swung her hand dramatically and tried to hit me. As I braced to protect myself, Emma came in. Mom. I was coming to help. What's happening? Olivia quickly retracted her hand. For the first time, I was stunned to see Olivia trying to hit me. Emma stepped in between us, shielding me. What was that all about? I hope I'm mistaken, but Olivia, you weren't trying to hit Mom, were you? Of course not. I would never do such a thing. Something was about to fall from the shelf, and I was just trying to prevent an accident. Right? Yes, that's right. Thanks, Olivia. I'll finish up here, so you go relax. I'll take you up on that offer, then. As she said this, Olivia returned to the living room. Her face was smiling, but her eyes were not. Remembering those cold eyes and the almost hit from earlier, I was filled with fear, my body tense. Emma looked at the shelf and seemed to furrow her brow, but I was too frightened to notice much else. Noticing how off I seemed, Emma gently rubbed my back. Mom, it's okay, now. It's just us here, and I'll protect you while I'm around. Hearing her words, I felt my body relax. I was grateful that Emma had come into the kitchen. If she hadn't, I'm certain I would have been hit. Thank you. It's reassuring to have you here. I'm okay, now. I forced a smile, but Emma saw right through it. You probably won't tell me even if I ask, Mom. So just remember this, if you ever need help, contact me immediately. I'll always be there to support you. Emma's sincere feelings reached me, and I nodded slightly in response. After that, nothing in particular happened, and we enjoyed a peaceful time. Before we knew it, it was evening, and since it was getting late, Emma and her husband decided to stay for dinner before heading home. Olivia started to offer her help with the dinner preparations, but Emma, having witnessed the earlier scene, told her to just take it easy. Perhaps because Emma had seen everything, Olivia obediently complied. Afterward, since Emma was capable in the kitchen, the dinner preparations went smoothly. Working on the meal together, amidst lively family conversations, I experienced genuinely enjoyable moments for the first time in a long while. When dinner was ready and we all began to eat, Michael praised the cooking. This is delicious. Emma, your cooking is the best. You're exaggerating. You're making me blush. But I'm still no match for Mom, you know. What are you talking about? No, really. Mom's cooking is incomparable because it's just terrible. I'm happy to have a good meal today. While Michael was insulting me in front of everyone, Olivia was the only one nodding and smiling. Seeing this, Emma and her husband stared at Michael and Olivia with serious expressions. The atmosphere suddenly turned sour, and then Emma spoke up to Michael. You seem to be mistaken, but Mom did all the seasoning. What? Don't lie. It's true. I just helped with the prep and other stuff. Thinking he had been tricked, Michael glared at me. Olivia's smile became strained, and I knew this was a bad sign. That's when Jake, who had been quietly observing, started to speak. I can see why you might be confused, Michael. The seasoning by your mom and Emma is quite similar, so it's understandable. Thanks to Jake, the tense atmosphere softened a bit. Although conversation was sparse for a while, Jake made an effort to start fun discussions and engage everyone, helping to ease the mood. By the end of the meal, the mood had become pleasant again. After cleaning up and seeing Emma and her husband off, a terrifying incident occurred. It was a time of fear reminiscent of my days suffering domestic violence from my ex-husband. Hey, old lady, you really embarrassed me today. Unlike his behavior when Emma and her husband were present, Michael started hurling abuse at me. There's no shame in what happened. Michael, apparently, you called them over to get back at us. I overheard her and Mom talking about it, Olivia lied. Olivia? Emma and I never talked about that. Shut up, old lady. Olivia wouldn't lie. Stop getting carried away. Then, suddenly, Michael kicked me. I rolled on the floor, unable to move due to the pain. Michael's assault didn't stop there. He came over to me and started kicking me repeatedly. As I struggled to breathe from the pain, I did my best to protect myself. All the while, Olivia watched and chuckled as if she was enjoying the scene. You're always useless, and it's infuriating to watch. I thought he said more, but my consciousness was fading, and I couldn't understand clearly. Eventually, Michael seemed satisfied and stopped kicking. Olivia, seeing my battered state, started laughing heartily. The fear I had forgotten from the days of domestic violence with my husband came flooding back, and I started to cry out of fear. Not missing this, Michael and Olivia started laughing even more. What? You're crying. I don't want to see an old lady's crying face. Right, Olivia?
Yeah.
It's kind of harsh, isn't it? I wanted to leave immediately, but my body wouldn't cooperate. Then, Michael and Olivia delivered the final blow. Old lady. Pack your bags and get out of the house today. Isn't that sad? But I guess you don't want to stay in this house anymore, huh? For a moment, the pain in my body seemed to vanish as my mind went blank. This house is in my name, filled with memories from years of living here. I had never even considered leaving. Got it? Pack your stuff within an hour and get out. From today, this is our house. If you understand, hurry up. Do you want to be kicked again? Faced with Michael's undeniable demands, all I could do was comply. Despite the pain that made it hard to move, I forced myself to start packing. Throughout the packing, tears of frustration wouldn't stop. At the same time, a sense of insecurity about the future and anger towards Michael and Olivia started to rise within me. For the first time, a clear anger towards them surged in me, and I swore to get back at them somehow. Once I finished packing, they threw me out without much conversation. As I wondered what to do next, Emma's face came to mind. I called a taxi and, desperate for help, headed to Emma and her husband's home. When I arrived at Emma's house, the lights were still on inside, so I rang the doorbell. Hearing my voice through the intercom, Emma hurriedly opened the front door. Emma looked shocked, and understandably so. Just a while ago, I had been unscathed, but now I was bruised, carrying large bags. Emma called her husband to help with my luggage and supported me into the house. They helped me out of my coat and laid me on the sofa. Seeing my grave condition, Emma examined my wounds. Her husband brought a blanket to ensure I wouldn't get cold and gently covered me with it. After assessing my injuries, noticing the bruised skin and a significant bruise on my head, Emma insisted on taking me to the hospital just to be safe. Although it was late and I didn't want to be a burden, I eventually agreed to go to the hospital after being persuaded by Emma and her husband. At the hospital, tests revealed that I had several fractures. Fortunately, there was no damage to my head, but I had to be hospitalized for a few days just to be safe. 3 days later, I was discharged and returned to Emma and her husband's home. I'm so sorry for all the trouble I've caused. I don't even know what to say. Don't worry about it. It's good it wasn't life-threatening. Can we talk about what happened after we left? I really didn't want to tell Emma. But with such severe injuries, hiding the truth wouldn't satisfy them. I told them everything, without holding anything back. All the verbal abuse and terrible treatment I had endured from my eldest son and his wife since we started living together were laid bare. Emma listened silently until the end. Her husband also listened from a short distance away. After I finished, I asked them a favor. I'm sorry to ask, but could I stay just for a few days? I'll look for a rental that I can move into immediately, just until then. I apologized deeply and pleaded with Emma and her husband. Then, to my surprise, they responded with an unexpected proposal. Mom, don't look so sad. While you were in the hospital, Emma and I decided something. Decided what? That you should live with us. Really? Are you sure? Let's live together. I never expected they would offer to live together. Overwhelmed with joy, I burst into tears. Thank you, I kept saying, and they comforted me until I could stop crying. After that, we agreed to live together, and Emma and her husband proposed a plan. They suggested making Michael and Olivia face consequences for their actions. But is it really okay to do that to my own son? Emma, won't you regret it? I don't forgive them, nor should I. I can't forgive them. Emma stated resolutely, and seeing her determination, I accepted the proposal. They told me to leave the details to them, and I trusted them completely with the arrangements. When the month turned, Michael contacted me. Hey. I didn't know there was still a mortgage on the house. What's this? I got a notice to appear in court, what's going on? I never said there was no mortgage. It's your house now, so you deal with it. Don't joke around. How am I supposed to pay this much? You built the house, you pay it off. I refuse. You know what's going to happen if you keep this attitude, right? You're the ones who kicked me out, so I don't know anything about it. You're gonna regret this. Michael spat these last words and then hung up abruptly. After the call, I realized my body was trembling with fear. But, reminding myself that I now had my daughter and her husband on my side, I managed to calm myself down. That night, I told Emma and her husband about the call, and they seemed to have expected it. Mom, just ignore any calls from now on. Emma advised, and I complied without question. Despite this, Michael and Olivia continued to call daily. Following Emma's instructions, I kept ignoring them until one day they showed up at Emma and her husband's house. I didn't hear the initial confrontation as I was conducting an online course. When the course ended and I headed towards the living room, I recognized the voices. Peeking in, I saw Michael and Olivia pleading with Emma and her husband. Please. We just need a little money. We would really appreciate your help. And what have you been doing about money until now? Weren't you contributing at all to the household expenses? Well, I paid for my phone and insurance, but I never gave money to my mom. Emma and her husband sighed heavily in disbelief. That means, along with the mortgage, you weren't contributing to utilities or food either, right? And after all that, you treated her like a maid. Hurled abuse, and then violently kicked her out. What abuse and violence are you talking about? As Michael faltered, Emma's husband spoke up. I agree with Emma. She was in terrible shape. She had to be hospitalized. What you did could be considered a crime. What? That's the situation, so you should leave for today. Wait. At least tell me where Mom is. There's no way we're telling you that. We're also going to sue you. Be prepared to pay damages. Thinking you can say whatever you want because we came asking for help? Don't mess with us. Suddenly, Michael stood up in a rage and lunged at Emma. Just as I was about to intervene by opening the living room door, Jake stepped between Michael and Emma. Michael was easily restrained by Jake, unable to move. Still yelling and thrashing about, Michael made Emma feel threatened enough to call the police. Shortly after, the police arrived and took Michael and Olivia away. After they left, I quickly approached Emma and hugged her. I'm so glad you weren't hurt. Thank you, Jake, for protecting Emma. The couple simply smiled and continued to treat me kindly, reassuring me. Since then, thanks to the detective Emma and her husband had hired beforehand and the lawyer they engaged, we managed to obtain a substantial amount in damages from Michael and Olivia. It was also revealed at that time that both Michael and Olivia had been cheating on each other, which had led to a messy situation. Now, they would have to face not only financial issues but also marital problems. Now free from Michael and Olivia, I felt safe to go outside, and gradually, I started to regain my spirits. Despite occasional contacts from Michael, which violated the court's no-contact order, each instance was handled firmly by our lawyer. One day, I happened to meet a former neighbor at the supermarket who mentioned that Michael and Olivia's daily life was plagued by endless arguments over money and infidelity issues. Olivia's true nature was exposed, leading to their divorce. They then put the house up for sale. According to the detective, due to police involvement, the court case, and the divorce, rumors spread throughout Michael's workplace. Prideful Michael soon quit his job. After being dumped by his affair partner, he is now working part-time but without a permanent home, spending nights on the street. As for Olivia, she had been living with her affair partner but was recently dumped. She's now seeking live-in employment, undergoing a tough reformation. She's forbidden from indulging in her beloved activities like nail art and lives a constrained life. As for me, I bought back and renovated our old house, where I now live with Emma and her husband. Emma, who has qualifications in aromatherapy and massage, and I opened a small shop on the spare land during the renovation. We both manage online courses, run classes in our shop, sell crafts, and offer by-appointment aromatherapy massages. Everything is going smoothly. Being able to work on what we love and having returned to a home that, although renovated, is still ours, fills our days with joy. The tasks that Emma and her husband took upon themselves, involving detectives and lawyers, were complex, but they managed everything, allowing us to achieve this peaceful life. Our relationship is harmonious, and recently, Emma shared the delightful news that she's pregnant. I'm looking forward to holding my grandchild and can't wait for the day. With more joys to come, I truly feel blessed. I cannot thank Emma and her husband enough. Thank you so much.